Well, the countdown to Sunday's Texans-Patriots playoff game does continue. One of the biggest storylines around the game this week, how dominant Houston's defense has been this season. Earlier this week, Vrabel said this is the best defense they've faced all season long. Well, the Texans' defense isn't just good, it is arguably the best in the NFL. They rank number 1 in total defense, 2nd in scoring, 3rd in takeaways, passer rating, completion percentage, and they are tied for 7th in sacks. The Texans' D is a big reason the team turned an 0-3 start into a 12-5 finish and a playoff berth. Impressive, right? Well, apparently Boutte has a little Michaela Maroney in him because he's not impressed.
Obviously, they're a good unit, number 1 ranked defense, whatever you want to say. But, we're a good offense, too, We're not going to discredit ourselves. Just keep doing the same things we've been doing, honestly.
Is this one of the toughest defenses that you've personally had to prepare for in the NFL?
I wouldn't say one of the toughest. At the end of the day, we know we're going to get man coverage. You got to beat it. It's that simple.
Not that hard, everybody. Welcome into Arbella Early Edition. Trenni Casey alongside Adam Jones and Taylor Kyles. Taylor, you just said, that's me asking the question. So what was your reaction to his answer?
I actually might have gotten it wrong. It was a similar question, though, but the idea was that they're not really too intimidated by this Texans secondary. And I will say, when you're talking about specifically man coverage, I kind of understand why. Just last year, Drake Maye's first career touchdown was a deep bomb to Boutte against who else but Derek Stingley, their number 1 cornerback. And when I looked at the tape and the numbers, Derek Stingley has been vulnerable against man coverages. There are also a couple other weaknesses I think the Texans have. Their linebacker, Henry To'oTo'o, and also I think they might have some good matchup advantages when it comes to some of those safety and tight end matchups. So I understand where he's coming from. They should have some confidence because they've been playing well to their credit.
They're a good offense, and they score a bunch of points, and I get having some confidence in that. I don't like the idea of saying, we're a pretty good unit, too. I wouldn't say they're one of the best units we've faced. I wouldn't give them any bulletin board material going into the game or any reason to get any extra motivated. It's a playoff game. Everybody's motivated. I get that. I wouldn't give them an extra level to get fired up, especially if you're Boutte. No offense. Diggs wants to do it. That's one thing. If Boutte wants to do it, to me, that's another. So, I don't love that answer.
No, I felt the exact same way. Listen, I'm not going to break down the Texans defense the way Taylor is in any way, shape, or form. But my first thought when I read the headline today and then listened to the sound was, well, that is very bold going up against, at least statistically, a defense. And listen, I know Aaron Rodgers is 41 or 42 years old and, at the end of his career, but he's still a smart quarterback and he looked lost against the Texans defense. This idea, Taylor, that the Patriots are just, we're so good that it's fine. They don't play very well in man coverage. I didn't love it. It reminded me of is this their version, the Patriots, of the black Letterman jackets, right? You come in with all of this confidence and thinking you're going to walk through this defense. And is that just the way Boutte feels, or do you think that's a message that's being sent behind the scenes to the team?
I think it's a confidence you have when you have a potential MVP at quarterback. That's a big part of this. I think it's very fair to say the Patriots receiving core on paper when you matched up against the Texans doesn't really blow you away, but you have a quarterback like Drake Maye who's going to put the ball in the right spots consistently, and whether or not the wide receivers are wide open, they still have a good chance to catch it. Boutte has been ultra reliable at the catch point. Demario Douglas had success last year against Jalen Petrie. Kamari Lassiter is the one cornerback on that team that I really don't want to mess with, but again, it's not just about the receiving core. It's about the guy throwing them the ball, and the way that he's been playing last week, a bit of an anomaly, but he figured it out later in the game. I understand why they feel this way.
Okay, so you just said it. They just scored 16 points. It's not like you just scored 30. It's not like you just lit up the last team you played. And this is a better defense than that Chargers. Chargers were a good defense. This is a great defense. I would respectfully disagree with Boutte. It is definitely the best defense they've faced this year. It might be the best defense in football. For my money, it is. That doesn't mean you can't make plays against it. You just scored 16 points, and I get the ball placement you're talking about, Taylor. Drake Maye threw a pick. He put the ball on the ground 2 other times, and you scored 16 points. So I keep it to yourself. If you're that confident offensively, keep it to yourself or save it when you're coming off a massive offensive performance, not last week.
And it all does leave me wondering, a lot of people are people around here are saying, well, that Texans defense can't be that good. Look at the quarterbacks that they faced and look how great we are. And
Josh
wonder,
Allen. Josh Allen stinks. Yeah.
I wonder if it's the inverse other places where people are looking at the the Patriots and saying, wow, that's a team with a lot of confidence, considering they were really good in the regular season, but they scored 16 points in their first postseason game, and they haven't done much beyond that. Well, we all do know, though, as Taylor just alluded to, the quarterbacks are going to be the most important players in Sunday's game. But who's next on your list? If you're going to win the game, you're going to have to score. So here are the odds for anytime touchdown scores for the game on Sunday. Woody Marks leading everybody, and the three running backs right there on top at plus 150, plus 175 for Stevenson, Henderson at plus 190. My guy Nick Chubb. I don't think I knew that he was on the roster, but I'm like, I wonder.
He's not. That's his dead corpse on the roster. He is not on the roster.
So you're saying, I just saw the plus 750. I was like, maybe that's good value. I don't know. But I do think, Jones, that if the weather is really cold, if it does snow even a little bit, I do wonder then if your next most important players aren't necessarily wide receivers. I don't know what the wind is going to be like. But if you're going to have to sort of win a game the dirty old school way, which is on the ground. So to me, the running backs become very important for both teams.
Yeah, and I think it could be in the passing game. Like, I think Ramondre Stevenson has been a big factor there. So maybe that's a way you can victimize them. I'd look to Hunter Henry. I like the odds there that you see. Plus 190, I think, is good value. Taylor highlighted it. I think they could be a little susceptible there defensively. So to me, that if I had to hone in on a name for the Patriots, I'd go with him. If I didn't see one on the screen there, but if you want to go long shot, Jalen Knoll from the Texans, he's probably going to play more. I think Higgins is going to take the Nico Collins role. But I'd be a little worried about those young receivers and some big plays on offense for the Texans if I was going to highlight somebody on the other side.
I think if we're talking touchdowns, a sneaky one, I think Kyle Williams. I said it last week. I didn't think the Patriots exploited some of the man-on-man matchups they could have. But once again, Derek Stingley, he's a very good cornerback. He is elite in zone coverage. But man coverage, even Tyquan Thornton, former Patriot, has managed to get behind him. Kyle Williams with his release package, I think he can win off the line of scrimmage. And once again, Drake Maye's ball placement. I think if that happens and we could see another long Kyle Williams touchdown, similar to what we saw against the Ravens, similar to what we saw against the Giants. So I like him. And then just looking at the defensive side of the ball, Milton Williams, whether you got to run the ball a lot if you're the Texans, whether you got to pass a lot, Milton Williams in the center of that defense has to make an impact for this defense to dominate the way it potentially could.
Yeah, just in case Phil Perry doesn't think that I listened to him when he talks, he has talked a lot this week about the Patriots' big play potential against the Texans, that might be a weak spot. And obviously it's been a strength for the Pats all year long. What about the coach's tail of the tape? In the regular season, Mike Vrabel has a better winning percentage by over 100 points, but in the postseason, guys, kind of even Steven here. 3-2 for D'Amico Ryans, 3-3 for Mike Vrabel. Taylor, if you had to look at a coach and say, that's the one I want on my sideline on Sunday, which one are you choosing?
I'm going with Mike Vrabel. He's got the experience and also as a player and as a coach, so I think that's a huge advantage. But I will say, I like both of these coaches a lot, and I think this is going to be a great matchup of really sound minds, guys who are very situationally aware, because as a defensive player, that's kind of one of the things that you tend to have a really good strength on and a good grasp on is third down, red zone. What are we going to do? What are we going to do to put our defense in the best situations? But when you have Drake Maye, you can be a little bit more aggressive. So I'll put the experience and the Drake Maye angle. I'll give it to Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I will as well. You know, not to go full homer here, but I would give the edge to Vrabel. We rank these and have before the wild card round. We did it before the divisional round as well. On the Jones and Keefe show, we had Vrabel third the last couple of weeks. I think we had this week D'Amico Ryans 5, maybe after Vrabel and Peyton, Shanahan and McVay at the top. So I think D'Amico Ryans is a really good coach. This is not trashing on D'Amico Ryans, but I would give the advantage to Mike Vrabel and the Pats. And this is the round where the Texans have been knocked out. The last couple of years, they could be due for a championship game and getting to that level, but this is typically where Ryans and those teams have been knocked out, so I'll take Vrabel. I
also don't think that you can't discount, I know regular season is different from the postseason, but what Mike Vrabel did in just 1 year with his team. Not to say that the Texans look at D'Amico Ryans and maybe don't trust him, but they've gotten to this point and haven't gotten over the hump, as you mentioned, whereas I think the confidence that the Patriots have in Mike Vrabel and the message that he sends and the way that he just gets them ready mentally has been an intangible for this team so far this year.